What's happening? Still a Nation. Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, SimFBallCritic, Sim, whatever you want to call me. He is I is him. Welcome, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Like I said, another episode of the Terrible Tuesday here live from the Steel Basement, and we're going to get into it. My plan tonight, get right to my topics so we can open the phone lines up. Let me throw that up on the screen. Wada boom, bada bing. Blog Talk appears to be working. So look forward to hearing from you guys. So let's get right to it, man. Let's say hello really quick to some of the early commenters, and we're not going to waste too much time here tonight. What we got here? Kev So Fun. What's happening? Rajan. Wide Diggy. 412. Born and raised. Hello, Lanisha, the lovely Lanisha in the building. Fellas, make sure you take time to say hello to our lovely ladies of Still a Nation. Lay out the red carpet, please. Who else we got up in here, man? Real Facts. Dietrich Bundick. Jared Devil. Antoine Hill. What's going on, Antoine? I know where your attention will be in about an hour or so, right? Too bad I'm not really going to be able to watch. I got to commute tomorrow, so I can't stay up late watching the game, but let's see what the Sixers get done tonight. The Master of Music. Lee Sharp. Who else? TJ. My man, CT Pittman. Mr. All Days Off. Who else? Steely McBeeman, Vista Light, Angie. Hello, Angie, AK Baby Stiller. Hello, Miss Lady. Again, guys, fellas, make sure. Tip your hat. Give them a warm welcome. Make them feel very comfortable in that home. And then my brother Kenyon in the building. What's up, Sade? Sade, another one, man. Lay out the red carpet for our lovely ladies of Still a Nation. What's going on, Sade? Good to see you like always. All right, let me stop wasting time, man. Let me stop yapping and get right to the action. We're going to jump right in because, again, I want to leave space for phone calls and watch. This will be the night that I don't get a lot. But let's get right to it. Listen, Tomlin's comments, never a whole lot you could take from the presser. He doesn't say too much, which I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. Like I said, guys, most head coaches don't give you all of the meat and potatoes, if you will. I was just watching a clip with Bill Belichick over at Pat McAfee's show. And, it just reminded me of how Bill Belichick used to handle his business, right? Never going to give you too much. So it's always funny to see people complain about Mike Tomlin, his lack of information. And I'm like, come on. One of the greatest coaches, and you got to admit it, whether you hated the Patriots or not, one of the greatest coaches to ever do it, never gave you a lot of information either. But anyway, what I did take from the presser, he definitely talked about the injury, so let's get into that. Montravius Adams, Mont Adams as they call him, is out. Already categorized as out for the upcoming game, dealing with the knee injury. And at the moment, Mike Tomlin said he's not sure how long that injury will keep him out of play. Who else we got on the list? He talked about Dirty Red. Dirty Red, and the real ones know who that is. I don't even have to say his full name. Some of y'all might not. Dirty Red is in position to work his way back, so we'll see how that goes. It's always interesting when guys like that come back, like special teams guys and such, because it makes you wonder, who's going to be down, who's been up in their place, things of that nature. Cordero Patterson is working his way back as well. So again, keep an eye on Dirty Red, keep an eye on Cordero Patterson. Both of these gentlemen are working their way back, so it's very possible that we may see them play or at least suit up for Monday night against the Giants. Also, Dante Jackson went down with a minor shoulder injury. We saw that, which is the reason why James Pierre was in the game for a decent amount of time. Mike Tomlin said the shoulder injury is minor. They don't expect it to affect the game at all. So, at this moment, just kind of letting participation be the guide. They get an extra day of work, extra time with it being a Monday night game. So at the moment, Dante Jackson is expected to play. So we'll see. Got to keep your eyes on it, man, because you never know. Some of these guys will downgrade, on the injury report, where they'll go from okay to worse, or they'll go from not really much to popping up. So always want to pay attention to the injury report. But as of right now, Dante Jackson is expected to play as normal. Damani KZ. KZ is another guy that Tomlin expects to be back. And again, you just heard me say it always makes you wonder who's in these guys' place. Makes me think about a guy like Terrell Edmonds, right? Terrell Edmonds has been playing some gunner for us. We've also seen him defensively, but he's been playing gunner on special teams. So it makes me wonder if KZ comes back and they want to put KZ back in the fold in terms of defensively, then who goes down? You would think Edmonds is probably going to have a shot to remain up on the 53. But again, because, all the expectation would be that he would continue to keep his gunner spot. So then it makes me think, who do we have to remove or inactivate in order for KZ to be on the active roster? So keep an eye on things like that. Also, let's talk about no update for Herbig or Frazier. And that one hurts a little bit, guys. Even though, got to give Ryan McCullum some credit, man. Ryan McCullum is doing relatively decent. I'll know more when I get a chance to watch the All-22. Hadn't had a chance to watch it, man, even though it actually comes out on Monday now. My schedule was crazy. Because this is one thing I don't do, guys. In case you don't know, I try not to do anything halfway. That's my motto. So I don't want to just glance at it. And if I can't watch it, if I can't dive in and really dissect, I don't even waste my time coming here and acting like I saw enough to, you know what I mean? So I haven't really studied Ryan McCullum, but from just watching the game again, his name not really being brought up, I think he's doing a serviceable job, man, in replace of Zach Frazier. So we shall see. At least we're getting production out of him, but definitely sucks, man, to see Herbig and Frazier not have any update. But I expect that those guys will more than likely be ready and back to go after the bye. That makes sense, right? No need to rush anything, right? We're doing okay. We're 5-2 right now. They got a winnable game against the Giants. No disrespect to the Giants, but the way where they're currently sitting, that I'll say this early, that team doesn't scare us. I would think that they Steelers should be able to go ahead and take care of business as long as they're executing. So there's no need to rush those guys back. And there you have it. And also Roman Wilson, man. Roman Wilson is another guy. Tomlin didn't really mention him. I think somebody asked him about Roman Wilson in the question portion of the interview. And, he basically said Roman Wilson's work slowed down. So he decided to not make him a part of the plan for this past game. So hopefully, again, Roman Wilson, hopefully he's another guy that can get it going. We do not want to have a situation, a Corey Trice situation where rookie year he gets no burn and no play. Even though he did play a little bit in one of those games. But again, I want him to get on that moving train, like Tomlin would say. I would like to see Roman Wilson in the fold this season at some point. So hopefully, again, maybe this week or maybe after the bye, we'll start to see him get introduced if he can stay healthy. That's really the only thing that I took from Tomlin, man. I didn't really have anything else as a mainstay or a main point. But that's really what I took from that particular press conference today. Other than that, man, just giving you, again, a real light recap. I feel like I've gotten good. I've gotten good with the knee-jerk reaction show, where I've been able to really break down the game for the most part. And when I rewatch it, all I'm doing is looking to see if there's anything I missed. Again, the official rewatch is the All-22, and that's typically where I can see what's going on. And, you extended family members, you guys that are members of the channel are able to see that footage. But so far, man, from rewatching the game, man, my feelings still remain the same. Just a quick recap. The Steelers came out faster than expected, right? And I'll say that because we had a decent drive to open the game as far as offensively. Couldn't punch it in, but we got 3 points. It was good to see, even starting with a run, Najee picked up like 6 or 7 yards or something like that. And then we, threw a pass to Darnell Washington and then back to Najee again. Like we were moving the ball pretty decent and just kind of stalled out there. As far as the remainder of the first half or remainder of the first quarter, rather, offense, was a little shaky, a little slow. Russ had to get rid of the rust. You could clearly see it. You could see the deficiencies in Russ's game in terms of what we lose without having Justin Fields. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here, a little bit down here in the road in tonight's show. I'll talk a little more about the question that I asked there in the title, how far can we go? But you were able to see that early on. It was moments in that game early on, especially in the first half, first quarter, where, Fields would have took off right there. Russ seemed a little reluctant to scramble. He had one moment where he had to scramble and he was able to not get sacked. He picked up a yard, but there were a lot of moments, especially when you watch the game again, where, that could have been a scramble opportunity. So early on, again, Russ looked rusty. Started getting it going in the second quarter. You remember the drive when they threw the deep ball to George Pickens and George kind of caught it on his side, and that's when that drive started to cook. It was disappointing, though, in that drive as I watched it again, that we didn't finish that drive with a touchdown. Again, another field goal. So, not understanding the results of the game and rewatching it, you look at the moments like, that was an opportunity because we started getting it going again. Offense started picking up again. You hit the deep shot to Pickens. You hit a couple more shots. That was the one where I think we did a play action pass and we hit Darnell Washington on the right side. Darnell picked up like 13, 14 yards or so. We were moving. Handed off the ball to Najee. Najee picked up yards on that drive. And you just felt like, we're going to score here. And we didn't. So that was disappointing. Outside of that, guys, just talking again about the first half. Defensively, the biggest theme was the missed tackles, man. That was the biggest thing that was plaguing us. But I'm going to interrupt myself, and I'm going to say thank you for the donation and appreciate the Wonder Bread from Lee Sharp. Let's address his comment. Round of applause. Lee Sharp says, the team got going and was having fun. Love to see it. Mike T has the best quotes. That's why I'm compensated well. Laugh out loud. My boy. I loved it too, man. What he's talking about, guys, in case you didn't see it, of course, most of y'all did. But again, I recognize that not everybody watches all of the interviews and, the ins and outs of the game and the intricate, things defensively, offensively. So I always want to keep that in consideration and not assume that everybody knows and sees some of the certain things that I may see or others like Lee Sharp. But what he's talking about is Brandon Marshall was doing the post-game questions. He was in the post-game interview and he asked Mike Tomlin, he said, hey, I'm going to ask a question, yada, yada, yada. What kind of made you, basically to some degree, what he was asking him basically was, I don't have the words correct, but he basically asked him what made him comfortable with going with 3, talking about Russell Wilson as opposed to Justin Fields and kind of standing in that decision. And Mike Tomlin simply said, well, that's the reason why I'm compensated very well. And he's basically telling everybody, relax. It was my decision. I was the head coach. Let me do what I do. And that's basically what he was saying. And it's similar to what I was saying, guys. Listen, we all had our opinions. You guys heard me. I wanted to keep Justin Fields in there, but I came back and before the game on the pregame show, I might have said it on Terrible Towel after we knew what the decision was. I must have been on the pregame show. I said, okay, if I look at it from Tomlin's side, I understand the move. I understand what he's looking to possibly get from Russell Wilson. That was the plan the entire time, and he's just sticking to the plan. Whether we agree with it or not, that's what he did. But again, I respect it. Head coach made a decision and he stood on it. And I'm not going to say that people have egg on their face either. None of us could have predicted For most of, for the people who were like, against putting Russell Wilson in, you don't have egg on your face. You don't have to eat crow. We're not the coaches. We don't play for the team. All we could do is, respect the decision, whether we agree or not. That's all we could do. Right? So I just appreciated Tomlin standing on business, man, and just saying, look, this is what I'm doing. Plain and simple. And he did it. And we find out that apparently he was, as they quote, he was Lone Ranger in the decision. I respect it, man. I respect it. But let's get back to what I was talking about, guys. Missed tackles, man. Defense. Too many missed tackles in that first half. There were a lot of opportunities where we just simply missed the tackle. Got to give credit to Breece Hall as well. There was sometimes in open field, he just made a quick move and guys, the angle that they took just wasn't the best, but there were still quite a few times early on in that game where we just missed a lot of tackles, man, which led to explosive plays. But as we all know, in the second half, totally different story, man. The defense clamped down. And you know what I'm going to do really quick? I'm going to take time, and my bad, guys, if y'all see me continue to look down, I have the stream up on my phone as well. I just want to make sure it's running properly. I'm going to take a moment here, and I'm going to give Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin a round of applause. We often, I say we, because I'm inclusive of the community. We've all maybe have been guilty of this before. Some of y'all are always guilty of it. We often criticize the coaches and we say that they never make adjustments. Sometimes we even say they don't know what they're doing. What Mike Tomlin talked about in his press conference, and whether you believe in him or not, it was evident looking at the game. They made some type of adjustments at halftime. Defensively. Because we came out and we shut the Jets down for the rest of the game. Shut them down. Shut them down. We took out Breece Hall. We rattled or disrupted Aaron Rodgers. We clamped down Garrett Wilson. We clamped down Devontae Adams. We had Rodgers on the move a little bit. Had him throwing some inaccurate balls. Tomlin said they made adjustments at halftime. And the reason why I said I'm giving them a round of applause, because we do that all the time. We always do it. Admit it, guys. Look in the mirror and admit it to yourself. A lot of us, and I would say a lot of you, always claim that the Steelers, they never make adjustments, even though players have said it themselves. I recall even one of them times when Joe Hayden was there and they were saying, man, Tomlin drew up something on the sideline just real quick and we executed it and we got a turnover. So I'll say it's easy for us as fans when things don't work. See, they ain't make no adjustments. They ain't trying. It's easy for us to say that. But in reality, we don't know. We don't know. But obviously they did something. Because remember, we went into halftime down. We got a late touchdown, yes. Shout outs to Beanie Bishop off the interception. But the Jets were kind of, I ain't going to say they were having their way, but they was having moments. So clearly we did something to take that away. We got to recognize that. We can't just criticize the coaching staff and or players when things don't work. So shout outs. I will still say this, and I'm going to stand on this. 10 toes down. I still don't like the cushion that we give at times in coverage. I just don't like it. I don't like it. We often play off and just give the inside of the field. I don't like it. And some people will say, well, Sim, they only gave up 15 points. What you complaining about? Because I don't flip-flop. I'm still going to stick to the stuff I don't like, even though they only surrendered 15 points. I still hate when they do that. Too many times. I just be feeling like sometimes, man, put yours on the table and be like, look, You either gonna beat me or I'm gonna beat you. We're gonna get right in your face and make you earn it. Especially with Aaron Rodgers coming into this game, he had one of the quickest releases this season. And even in this game, you know, the numbers have come out. He was getting the ball out quick. So I felt like get in their face more, press them a little more, make it tougher, get that extra second to throw off the timing. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But outside of that, man, listen, defense clamped down. Steelers offense opened up. I was correct. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't have that, exact numbers, just the eye test. We utilized 11 personnel, way more than we had done previously. That is a Russell Wilson thing. We start opening it up. We start taking shots down the field. And the pass game led to the run game. And next thing you know, we was cooking with gas. Cooking. 31 unanswered points. Here, I'm sitting here talking about, man, I think if the Steelers team can average about 21 to 24 points a game, we might be all right. They put up 37. And you know what else they did? You know what else they did that we never do? It's funny because my father-in-law called me last night and was like, man, what's wrong with your boys? Excuse me. He said, man, why didn't y'all take a knee? Najee getting that last touchdown. He was playing somebody in our fantasy league who had Najee. He was like, man, that made me lose the game. And I laugh because I often complain about the Steelers being too conservative and they never want to put their foot on the neck of the opponent. So I love seeing that. Late in the game, we ain't kneeling it out. We still running the ball and Najee scores. I loved it. Make a statement. Love seeing that. Love it. And just like, people say, oh, Tomlin don't want to score no points. I keep trying to tell y'all, that coaching staff would score 100 points if they could. It was just the way that they were trying to do it made y'all assume they don't like points. Loved it. But yeah, man, like I said, all three phases of the game, man. That's my quick recap, and I'm going to move on so I can get to the calls here soon. All three phases of the game, man. I mean, special teams. I mean, yeah, we had 2 blocks. Thank you very much. Because I'm pissed off about that too. We did learn that in Tomlin's presser. He said he spoke to New York and they admitted that Minka's block was clean. I'm sick and tired of hearing from refs after the game. That didn't happen to us a couple times now this season, where they admitting they blew a call. Why isn't this stuff reviewable? The NFL should go, I get it. Maybe they don't want to, to slow down the game, but I feel like you should be able to challenge more things like that, like pass interference. I cannot believe that they experimented with being able to challenge a pass interference for one season and they scrapped it. Why did they scrap it? Targeting to the head and all that, just like in college, it should be reviewable. I understand people gonna say, oh, I don't want the game to slow down. No, forget that, man. Because the refs, I forgot to say this after the game. The refs were, I don't know what they was doing. And not just our game, because I saw a couple of other games Sunday that the refs just, dog, can I tell y'all something that y'all already know? Go back and watch the game and count the amount of times that Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt were held. I mean, blatant calls. Just like Bosa was getting held in the KC and San Francisco game. I mean, blatant holds, dog. There was one time where Alex Highsmith got tackled. They tackled him. The boy got tackled and no flag. It's crazy, bro. I get it. I feel like the little holes in here shouldn't be called. Let some of that stuff go. But when it's over the shoulder, a pull down, a tackle, turn somebody all the way around, fistful of jersey, that is holding. And it was bad, guys. Trust me. If you get a chance to go watch the game, go rewatch it. It was bad and no calls. None. The refs should be ashamed of themselves, man. I'm sick of them coming back and saying, "Oh, yeah, and you know, and I'm sorry. Yeah, it was the wrong call. We blew it." I don't like it, man. Don't like it. But anyway, guys, let me move on. Only got a couple more things to get to. One thing in which I want to see if this is a real story before I mention it. Hold on. Let me check. Okay. Yeah, I don't see it on a couple sites that I follow, so I don't know if it's real. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. So it looks like it was just a what if trade, but I saw something pop up earlier saying that the Steelers were in trade talks with the Rams about Cooper Kupp. But since I don't really see it, oh, hold on. There's an article here on even Steelers Depot has it. They said Rams have called multiple teams about trading Cooper Kupp. Supposedly, again, we don't know how real this is, but supposedly they've contacted the Steelers. Again, these are just reports. So I was just going to say, you know, how you guys would feel about that. I'm not going to entertain it much because we don't have any concrete. But I would say this about the Steelers. If they actually did do something like that, then clearly they're trying to do whatever they can to take advantage of what they think they can get out of Russell Wilson. And I don't even think Cooper Kupp is healthy, if I'm not mistaken. So just wanted to throw that out there, guys, in case something like that actually happens. I would love to see the Steelers maybe do something else, but the question is, do they have to? We'll see. We'll see how how the season continues to play out. And real quick, guys, I'm going to say the last little thing, the question to the chat: how far do you think Russell Wilson can take the Steelers? And we'll revisit this too after phone calls, but that was really my main point. My main topic is, after seeing one game, I will say this: it's promising, but I'm not going to be overjoyed, right? I'm not going to be extremely down or extremely high. But if Russell Wilson can perform anywhere close to how he performed Sunday on a consistent basis, and I'm not asking him to throw 3, 4, 5 touchdowns every game, but I'm just saying sustaining drives, getting chunks of yardage, scoring touchdowns, the Steelers could be dangerous. Oh, look at this. Joe Manick says Wilson is a one-game wonder. Well, okay. We'll see. But it could be interesting if we could get that type of play out of Russell Wilson, because this Steelers defense, from what we're seeing, if they have any help from an offense, they could be kind of dangerous. But I will say this, guys, I don't care if y'all hate to admit it and y'all want to call them rat birds and all that, but I'm going to tell you right now, them Ravens is looking strong, bro. Yes, I do acknowledge that Lamar Jackson hasn't had a great game against the Steelers in his career. I'm just saying, don't kid yourselves. Don't kid yourselves. The Ravens looking like a team that's going to be tough. And Derrick Henry, that boy King Henry, looked like whenever he turned the corner, he's out of there. So if we're going to play with them, we're going to have to be on our square. Because guess what? The boy Lamar passing the ball now. I told y'all a few years back, give him time. We can no longer say, let's just force them to pass. Nah. Lamar making some passes out there, bro. Yeah. Lamar throwing some dots out there. The boy Zay Flowers getting busy out there. Isaiah Likely is a matchup nightmare probably for somebody. Now they messed around. They got Andrews feeling good again with a couple touchdowns in the last couple games. Even Bateman showing up now. Ravens gonna be tough. I'm just letting y'all know that. I'm just letting y'all know that. But we'll see. But anyway, guys, last thing that we're gonna do, y'all know I cannot go to the phones without recognizing some of our key moments and key players of the game, right? So y'all already know what time it is. And if you don't know, now you know. It is time for us to get into the big hat moment. You know we had to do a big hat moment tonight. We got a few, and we're going to keep them short and sweet. First up, the first fella who is going to receive the big hat, the tip of a big hat, is Najee Harris. Round of applause to Najee Harris. Najee Harris is playing with intentions, man. Najee has had some big runs in the last couple weeks. 2 back-to-back games over 100 yards. Running hard, man. But not only just that, I'm seeing some wiggle from Najee. A little wiggle. What's happening? See Najee making dudes miss, showing a little speed. What's happening? But I got to give this guy a big tip of the hat, man, because listen, Najee is playing in a contract year. And Najee is showing somebody out there that they need to pay him or that the Steelers need to re-sign him. I love that. Oh, and by the way, Najee Harris, I heard what you said. You forgot where you was at, didn't you, Najee? The camera's always on, brother. The mics is always hot. But let me tell you something. I ain't mad at you, fella. I ain't mad at you. That's just everyday talk. And if anybody was offended by it, who cares? That's just everyday talk. It was hilarious, though. And then Najee hit the, hey, what's up? It was hilarious. I enjoyed it. My man Najee keeping it a buck, 1,000, man. Love it. But all right, Najee, the tip of the big hat, man. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you, man. Even though some of Steeler Nation out here, right here in this chat, they say you trash. They want to get rid of you last week, a week before that, I mean. The fair weathers. But all right, guys, next up, the next person who is going to get the big hat moment. They call him George Pickens. I like to call him one of the best hands catchers that I've seen in my time. I know some of y'all might argue that, but some of y'all understand my point. The ease in which this boy catches the ball and contorts his body. He did it again on the first deep shot. How he just turns and subtly catches it in the breadbasket with somebody on his shoulder. George Pickens is a monster. I'm here to let y'all know that, in case y'all don't know that. George is a problem. He is a problem. What a game by George Pickens. What a game by Russell Wilson throwing it up to him and letting him go get it. And thank you, Jets, for being so stupid on that first touchdown to George Pickens. Why would you leave him man to man in that situation? In the play right before that, you ran cover 2 with the safety over the top. Why would you play tight man coverage against George Pickens with that little bit of space and Russell Wilson? Again, something that Russell Wilson might see faster than Fields, recognized it immediately, and it was like, cut, catch, look, throw. Russell got the ball off in probably less than 2 seconds and put the ball where it needed to be. But my man, George Pickens is a bad boy. And boy, is it going to be nice to see them continue to work if they can continue to make that happen. So George Pickens, a tip of the big hat, my brother. Last but not least, because I know, guys, it's funny. When I watch the show back, I see so many people say, oh, man, give it to them, give it to them. No, guys. I can't give the big hat to everybody. Couple guys made plays in this game. Peyton Willis, I seen you. I'm sorry, Peyton Wilson. There it is. I'm calling him Willis again. I saw you. Peyton Wilson. Saw a couple of you guys. Fry move. I seen you, boy. But the big hat moment is reserved for guys who went crazy out there. Significant plays. And y'all got to know who about to get the last one that I'm going to present with the big hat moment. Beanie Bishop. Boy, let me tell you something. And we talked about this after the game. Chris Collinsworth, no disrespect. We ain't calling him Beanie Baby. A little toy from years ago. That just sounds, that sounds so small. Beanie Baby. Nah. I love what my boy Y Diggy said after the show. No, we calling him Beanie Siegel. Mac, you know how y'all about to make me go into the Beanie Siegel rhymes right there. Know how Mac come through on that thug. That boy was playing like Beanie Siegel out there. Stu from Paper Soldiers. That's gonna be his name. Beanie Siegel. Broad Street Bully. And if you don't know who that is, go do your homework. But Beanie Bishop, boy, I tell you, right place at the right time on that second pick. But that first one, my boy, that first one, just showed my wife to play a little while ago and explained to her, like, this was an individual effort right here. You backpedaling this way. You looking at Rodgers, you see where the ball is going, and you turn back around and catch that thing with the one. My boy, that was a big hat moment. That was the turn of the game right there. That was the turn of the game. Because right after that, we come down, we get the touchdown to George Pickens, and we in the house now. Now we done shift the tide. Now Mr. Momo is on our side. And the rest was, as they say, history. Beanie Siegel, Beanie Bishop, Beans, Mac, Broad Street Bully. A tip of the big hat, my brother. Excellent job. As you will end with the final big head moment. And we back. All right, guys, let's get to it, man. Let's get to the phone queue, man. We got about 20 minutes in here, and I'm sure we got some calls in here. Y'all know the routine, man. Keep it quick, keep it short. Don't make me have to mute you or cut you early. I don't want to do that. But some of y'all just talk a little too long. I'm just being, listen. I'm like that real good friend of yours that's always going to tell you the truth. Y'all can even tell me the truth. That's what I want y'all to do. Some of y'all just talk too long. You take too long. Short, sweet, concise. Let's do it. First up, area code 443. What you got for us?
What's good, Sam? Appreciate you taking my call as always, man. And good evening to the ladies in the chat. Just real quick, man. Great game by the Steelers. Appreciate everything you do in getting us involved. Not really sold on Arthur Smith at the moment, and the reason why I say that is because I don't feel like he schemed wide receivers open enough. I don't believe I've seen it except for yesterday in the game when he schemed open Jefferson by having Pickens run the two receivers off on a touchdown. And maybe on that open pass across the middle to Austin, it looked like Gardner got picked. I'm not for sure if he just ran himself into the dudes or he got picked. But outside of that, I don't think he schemed receivers open wide enough, and I'm pretty sure he know how to do it. keep running pitch outs to Najee, which is kind of crazy. I don't understand that. And as far as TA, I like TA, but I don't think TA does the same. I don't think he schemes the defensive line open enough as far as giving Watt and Highsmith opportunities to come from the middle or stand them up, move them around different places real quick to give the defense a different look so they won't get double or triple teamed. And I know that they probably make adjustments, but it's not always obvious. So, if you ever hear me talk about that, it's more so about me not seeing it enough, not saying that they don't do it. And Russ going to take the Steelers as far as the offensive line can keep him upright. Appreciate you taking my call, man.
Man, absolutely. Appreciate the call. You said a lot there. I don't know if I can answer it all. I'll answer the two things that I can be quick on. In all fairness, with the adjustments, I get what you're saying when you're saying they may not be obvious, but I'll have to say for myself, I don't know if I would know if they're obvious, right? Because I don't know the game plan. The obvious things that I can see is when we sit in spot drop zone and stuff like that. But I'll be honest in saying I would really have to study the tape to try to figure out what we did in the first quarter, second quarter, and then what we changed. I can't say that I've noticed that watching the game, but I would have to dive into 22 to notice it. But it might not always be. That's the thing. It might not be obvious to us. Like, for example, do any of you guys know what we changed in the second half of this game? I don't know until I dive in. But point taken. But also, I'll say this. Let me shoot Arthur Smith some bail. You make a great point when you say he may not scheme wide receivers open, right? That touchdown to Van Jefferson was definitely a scheme rub situation. But I will say this. Think back to when he was with Tennessee. Maybe this is just his offense. You know what I'm saying? He built his offense on running the football, play action, taking shots downfield to the 50-50 balls. That's what he did. So maybe you don't agree with his scheme as opposed to him not scheming people. You understand what I'm saying? That might just be his scheme. But again, point taken. So I definitely understand what you're saying there. But thanks for the call, man. Next up, area code 318. What you got for us?
Whoa, what's up, bro?
What's going on, brother?
What's up, bro? First of all, got to show love to both teams. And most of all, shout out to the lineman, man. Hope you're okay for the Jets, man. That was pretty crucial. But, yeah, man, we look like a, complete team. I was a little impressed. I'm a kind of a young fan, but it takes a lot to impress me. But to your point, what you were saying with Russell Wilson, the O-line, man, we should be used to that, man. You don't forget, with Big Ben, I want to say when Wisenhunt left and before Haley got there, man, he was holding the ball for almost an hour, bro. You could tie his shoes, bro. So, it's pros and cons, man. Might get sacked, go for a deep play. And missed tackles on defense was really getting me last night, but we played pretty clean, bro. And everybody have a good night. That's all I got.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. It's tough on us fans, man, because we can't. Even when you try not to be, a lot of us will always be results driven. So when we see something, it's quick. We're quick to say, oh, this and that. But some things we got to let play out. Because I will even say this, and this is a different point, but kind of along with what you were saying. It looked bleak in the first quarter or so with Russ. And I'm like, ooh. But we had to be patient and give it time. And look what it ended up being the rest of the game. So that's what I'm saying, too. Sometimes we have to let things play out, man. What we think we see might not always be the case. But yeah, you gotta let him cook, man. If the O-line can keep Russ up, again, guys, I think that is where we're going to excel, at least this season. Russell Wilson is definitely a better passer of the ball in terms of not even just the way he throws, but even the decision making. Justin Fields, I love Justin, and I think Justin has a future with us, but I showed my channel members, they saw it. That Raiders game really was the last straw for me. There was so many opportunities for Justin to take the throw, and he wouldn't. Justin Fields kind of waits for you to either be one-on-one or college open, right? He doesn't anticipate the throw as much, but I think he'll get it. But if for anybody that wanted to know why Russell is playing and why Tomlin decided to do that, I think that's why. They probably felt like there were more plays left on the field that we could make, and you go with the veteran guy who's been there, done that. And it kind of showed itself Sunday night. Next up, area code 757. What you got for us?
Oh, hey Sim, thanks for taking my call. I just got a real quick thing to say. I think Broderick will be fine because it usually just takes about 3 years for an old lineman to really develop, and it's just his consistency and his hand placement and feet. But I think he'll be all right. And also, I think the underthrown balls by Russ is probably just a lack of in-game timing, especially with that pass to Pickens. So on that third and I think 7 or something like that was the bobble catch. But I think it'll be all right. I think it's just Russ and Broderick. He'll be fine with development. But that's all I got. Thanks, Tim.
Oh man, thank you, lovely lady in the chat. Whoever that was, please let me know in the chat so I know who you are so I can identify you. And also 757, VA. Anytime VA in the building, I'm gonna give it up. Y'all know that's my birthplace, Richmond, Virginia. But any VA, anything from VA, I'm saluting and repping at all times. Even though I'm a PA dude now for several years, but shout outs. Thank you for that call. And you're right. Let's not call Broderick Jones a bust. Okay, I see people doing it all the time. Y'all have seen me get on him. But Broderick Jones is playing better. Gave up a sack to Will McDonald. But he's starting to settle in a little. So you're right. Give it some time. And I think a lot of times, guys, as football fans or sports fans in general, sometimes we get a little bit of that microwave mentality where we want things now, right? It's not always going to be that with every player, not every quarterback, not every tackle, not every corner, not every linebacker, et cetera, et cetera. Some guys, it might take a little longer for them to develop. So you're absolutely right, Miss Lady. I respect it. Thanks for the call. Next up, we have area code 302. What you got for us?
Hey, Sam, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but there are a lot of people in Steelers Nation, both on Twitter and in this community, who a few weeks ago were saying, start Cordero Patterson, start Jalen Warren, and I told you guys a few weeks ago, when this offense starts humming, it hums and it runs through 22 Najee Harris.
Yeah.
He's been cooking these past few games. Don't switch up now and say, let's pay the man his money.
Right.
Stay where you at, respectfully. Also, I wanted to say a big shout out to guys like, Deshaun Elliott. I think he's really bought in with this system, and in my opinion, he's been the most consistent defensive back. Shout out, no disrespect to, Joey Porter Jr., Dante Jackson. They're good in coverage, but can't lie, they be missing a little bit of tackles here and there, that, open field tackling sometimes an issue, but Elliott, he's going to come through, he's going to lay the wood, he's not going to miss any tackles. And, he usually, whenever he gets beat, he's tackling the catch. So, big shout out to him. And I wanted to say this last week, but, the program you used wasn't working. But I think this week really showed us what Arthur Smith's offense should look like when players are actually executing it correctly rather than us having, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 offensive penalties on the O-line or, what have you. That's really all I had to say. Shout out, Sim.
Man, thanks for the call. I really, really, really appreciate you, man. You made some great points there. Oh, yeah. I remember, too. I remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, they need to start Cordero Patterson. Don't switch up now. Stick to it. And what I'm saying is I want the same people who were saying that, say it still. Continue to say that right now. Don't switch up because Najee's doing better. Stand on your square. And I continue to say, no. You need all of them. And you need Najee to be the starter. Let those guys be the change of pace. Najee is your grind them out, quintessential Steelers running back. Jerome Bettis, Le'Veon Bell, Najee Harris. I'm just talking about the big boys. Franco Harris, like the big, that's Najee. And yes, Deshaun Elliott has been doing this thing, man. Kudos to him. All right, guys, I got to speed this up. I want to get these last 4 calls, but we got to be quick. Really, really quick. Area 864, what you got for us?
Can you hear me, Sam?
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. I'm gonna be very quick with this right here. Like Najee Harris. I mean, this is what the topic is about. I don't know why Pittsburgh is holding back on securing this brother. This brother, he put this football team on his back. The last game, the Raiders game, he put this football team on his back and willed us to a win. And who you gonna feature? Warren? Najee been with the Steelers for 4 years. He hadn't missed a game. As far as I know, he hasn't even missed a practice. And he's doable. And the brother is tough in them trenches. But I'm like the other brother. They need to do away with that pitch out sweep. They need to do away with that one. Other than that, I'm out there. Peace, bro. Have a good one.
Thanks for the call, man. Yeah, I'm hoping behind the scenes they've already talked. Like maybe they went to Najee and said, look, we're going to have to decline the 5th-year option to do this, finagle the cap. Maybe they already got something planned. I hope so, because I would like to see Najee come back. Hey, they might tag him, right? But also, let me say this. Our worst nightmare, because y'all know I talk about them toss plays too. Our worst nightmare was against the Raiders when Najee took that joint to the house. That was our worst nightmare. Because now Arthur Smith is going to say, oh, yeah, it works. It's going to bust loose. That was the worst thing that could happen is him score a 40-something plus yard touchdown off of the toss, which wasn't blocked up well, by the way. He made old Robert Spillane miss. But that was the worst thing that could have happened because now they're going to keep running it. But salutes. Thanks for the call. Moving on, area code 505. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just want to address on offense. I have not seen a game like that since Ben Roethlisberger, and I am stoked. But also, a point that I want to address is I don't think that Fields is a long-term answer. I think that I've seen enough of Fields because he's a run-first quarterback, and at this level, it's useless. And if you don't remember, in the Raiders game, a whole lot of those touchdown drives were aided by the Raiders doing a whole lot of penalties. They just shot themselves in the foot, and we scored. I think that we need to trade Fields in the draft, a pass-first quarterback. And also, I just have a question for you. What wide receiver do you think that we should trade for in the market currently? That's all I got, Sim. Thank you.
Man, thanks for the call. That's a tough one for me. Instead of me trying to just say something, I'm going to be honest and saying I don't know contracts, so it's hard for me to say who because I don't know contract situations. I don't want to get locked into a hefty contract, especially if they're on their last year of the deal and all of that. But I'll say I wouldn't mind, a lower level of Mike Williams, if he could remain healthy, somebody like that. There have been talk of them saying maybe DeAndre Hopkins, somebody like that. I wouldn't expect it to be a big time receiver, right? I won't expect it at this point to be when we were trying to get Ayuk or when we were trying to go after Adams. I wouldn't expect it to be one of those guys at this state. Right now, that if the trade is going to happen, it's this week or next week. I don't think it'll be a bigger name like that. But I'm thinking one of those Mike Williams types, DeAndre Hopkins maybe. I think maybe the bigger splash, maybe Metcalf. But I don't know their contracts. So it's hard for me to say. Dang, there was something else you said I wanted to comment on, and I forgot. Oh, Fields. They're not trading Fields. One thing I want you guys to remember is both Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith like Justin Fields. They like his upside. The whole idea when they traded Kenny to bring Fields in was for him to learn under Russell Wilson. He's young. He's going to be cheap if we re-sign him. Right? That's number one. Number two, who are we trading him to? Who's taking that trade right now at week 8? What team is going to trade? Because you got to remember, just like I said, it's a 1 year. Nor him or Russell Wilson is under contract. I want everybody to remember that. The Steelers are in quarterback purgatory right now. They're either going to have to sign one of these guys or draft somebody, and then we starting all over again because none of this is guaranteed. So I want everybody to remember that. And I don't think nobody's trading for Justin Fields right now. Just my opinion. And what compensation are you going to get for him? They're better off trying to work with Justin Fields and sign him for a longer term, see if they can get more out of him, as well as maybe draft a QB. And who knows what happens with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson go out there, win a playoff game or so or more. They try to find a way to re-sign him. So let's not get too crazy with that idea yet. It's a lot left to be desired. We'll have to see how that plays out. But thanks for the call. All right, the last two guys, really quick. Area code 202, what you got for us?
Yes, I'm going to do this in a very New York minute where I'm from. I just wanted to ask the Steelers Nation, I'm living out in L.A. You're so divided because of the fact that you doubted the decision-making of Tomlin is another indictment of the fact that you don't trust somebody that's been around for 18 seasons and he makes the decision and it makes him look good. That's because he knew. Okay, because Russell Wilson's resume is even as in the same caliber as the opponent he played against, which is they hyped him up so much. I'm talking about the quarterback that played for the Jets. I don't have to say his name. But my principal point is there's a lot of division. And we know that Tomlin has this winning record, and we know he makes the best decision for the team. And now you're all wrong. I think the Steelers nations in the PA area are more delusional in the Steelers nation out here in LA. It's like a political battle. We're divided. So now you can shut up, stop the hate, and realize that we're doing this for the betterment of the team. And I look forward to Russell Wilson remaining the quarterback, not just this year, and the remainder of how long he wants to play. He's a homer, by the way. He's from Richmond, Virginia. That's all I have.
Absolutely, man. Richmond, baby. He's right, man. Still a nation is so divided and funny at times, man. And it's like, you know, I can't tell anybody how to think or behave. I don't expect people to even think or behave like I do. But what I try to do here on this show is just get everybody to see that we all should be rooting for the same thing, right? These are the quarterbacks who are there now. Whether you like Fields or hate Fields, whether you like Russ or hate Russ, whether you like Tomlin or hate Tomlin, these are the people who are the faces of your franchise right now. So root for them. That's it. But it seems like there's a segment of Steelers Nation that wants to challenge everything. They hate the head coach and what he stands for and what he does and what decisions he makes. They hate the quarterback who's currently playing, who played Sunday and played well once he got the rust off. Could not stand the other quarterback who got us to a 4-2. Also threw some darts here and there, some accuracy issues from time to time, but also made some nice throws. It's like you have nothing to root for. You criticize every move. What's the point? And then I did see somebody say trade him to Cleveland. When y'all talking about Fields, I don't think Cleveland trades for nobody. Cleveland knows they're not going anywhere this year. That would be stupid to trade for anybody at this state. For what? You might as well just roll with them, the young boy DTR or Jameis. You know, again, that's like a Madden trade. There's no reason for Cleveland to be trading for a quarterback at this state of the season where they are in the season. They're not playoff bound. They're not division win bound. So, all right, last one, guys. Area code in my neck of the woods. Area code 717. What you got for us?
Yo, what's up, Sim? This is Matt. from the Harrisburg, PA. I just want to get right to it, man. I'm not going to take too long. I just want to say we're a receiver away from the Super Bowl. I really feel like if we get like a Cooper Kupp or a Hopkins, I feel like we go to the Super Bowl. I believe it wholeheartedly. Go to the Super Bowl. And people talking about Justin Fields, trade him away. You got to understand he needs to sit down. He's still young. He comes from the Bears. He didn't have no veteranship. So, yeah, don't trade him away. This is stuff that's it's a little bit of a foolish talk. He needs to learn. He needs to sit. Look at Darnold. You better get $1 million, $50 million, $100 million contract from sitting and learning. And so, yeah, let's be honest. Roger Jones, I like him. I respect him, but maybe we could trade him. And let's keep Dan Moore. And last year, I gotta say, Edmonds was the guy that Elliott was supposed to. I mean, Edmonds. We needed Edmonds to play like Elliott, how he's playing, and that's the truth. That's all I gotta say. God bless.
Man, appreciate the call and shout outs to Harrisburg, man, right up the road, man. I'm right down here in York. So shout outs to my neighbor right there, man. Central PA area. Yeah, listen, man. I can't believe I'm saying that, but let me just jump into the mind of 717 real quick. If the Steelers had a legit bona fide number 2, right? And I'm not even talking about superstar. Let me just name some quote unquote number 2s around the league. If the Steelers had a T. Higgins opposite George Pickens, who else can I name? If the Steelers had even at this state of his career, a Keenan Allen. Trying to think of some others. Slipping my mind right now, but oh yeah, Ridley. I was about to say that. A Calvin Ridley. Just somebody who you have to respect. Somebody who's nice. A Tyler Lockett. I saw that name floating out there. If we had something like that where you legit gotta respect these dudes, I don't make us a favorite, but I could understand somebody saying, hey, Pittsburgh Steelers could be a dark horse for the Super Bowl. Because I do think our defense can play with most teams. Now, we're going to find out here in the second half. But looking at what the defense has done, I feel like they can probably play and keep us in the game with most teams. Some teams are going to score on us, of course, but they might be able to keep the score relatively low. And if we have an offense that's potent, right? We're dangerous. Okay, it's only been one game, but let's just assume for a second. Let's assume Russell can play to the same level he played Sunday with 2 bona fide receivers. Now, Pat Fryermuth and Darnell Washington are getting in the mix. The run game is going. Sustaining drives. Yeah, I think we can hang with almost any team in the league. We're going to see, though. I'm not going to be a fool and say it. We're going to see. From week 10 on, we get to find out what we made of. Because the team that we normally beat up on in Washington, that ain't going to be no easy win, bro. Them boys playing ball. Jaden Daniels seems to be legit. So at first I was telling people, once after week 10, it gets tough. No. It gets tough week 10 on. We got the whole division after that. And you could say these teams suck and the Browns suck and all that, but it's still a divisional game. But we got to worry about them Ravens and them Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals could be coming, bro. Joe Burrow, still Joe Burrow. Trey Hendrickson out there looking like he in rare form. The Eagles. See what they're going to be. Kansas City. Oh, yeah, it's about to get real. But, yeah, if we had a bona fide number 2, that's a threat. Opposite of George Pickens, where maybe because George might start taking coverage away. Yeah. Steelers could be a possible team that could make some noise with the offensive output that we saw Sunday. And I'm not even talking about 37 points. I'm just talking about take that second half. Steelers running the football, sustaining drives, scoring some points, touchdowns here, field goals there. That team, again, put us back to about a 24-point average a game. 21 to 24. Consistently. With a number 2 receiver? Yeah. I'm with you, Harrisburg. Maybe. I ain't calling it, but I'm just saying, is it a possibility? Maybe. Can the Steelers possibly go up against the Bills and win with that type of formula? Maybe. The Chiefs? Y'all know how I feel about Patty Mahomes. That defense is real. Their offense ain't that great. Could we possibly have a better chance to clamp them down without the weapons? Possibly. There's no team out there that I feel like we can't play with except for Baltimore. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because, dog, I need to see us against that type of formula and see how we defend them. Win or lose. I need to see how we play Baltimore this year. That'll let me know if we're ready for the prime time. Because Baltimore looking strong, bro. They looking strong. You cannot deny it. Lamar is in rare form right now. Derrick Henry, Lord have mercy. Y'all talk about missed tackles. If we miss a few tackles on Derrick Henry in open field, but not at the moment, McAdoo. Kelsey hasn't been that this season. Maybe that's not his fault, but he hasn't been that. Kansas City hasn't. Think about it. Look at the games they played. They haven't been that. They haven't been scoring machine. Listen, I got this. I took Patrick Mahomes in my fantasy league. Ain't giving me nothing. Ain't giving me nothing. So, yeah. Don't believe the hype, Kev, so far. I know in recent years it seemed like the Steelers have had their number, but guys, everything comes to an end, man. And like I said, I know Lamar hasn't had great games against us, but them boys is cooking, man. Them boys is cooking. So you got to respect them. But yeah, you're right. We'll end it on that point. Give the Steelers a real threat at number 2. Could be a little dangerous. Well, we'll see. All right, guys, I'll spend 2 minutes in here. What y'all got, man? What y'all got in the comments? Leonard Green says, it was just a calming feeling to see what? See the ball being spread around for a change. Absolutely right. Could not agree more. It was very calming to see that. Round of applause, man, to the master of music for that Wonder Bread. The master of music says, I say we persuade Spillane to come back for the Ravens game to reintroduce himself to Henry. Yeah. Robert Spillane always gets my respect for that one play he made on that goal line. Awesome. He went out on his sword, man. He went out on his sword. I love it. What else y'all got? McAdoo said KC holds every play. Yeah, Kansas City, man, they 6-0. It's crazy. They, you know what? I'm gonna be honest, and maybe not exact parallel, but this year's Kansas City being 6-0 remind me of when the Steelers went. We went 11-0 that year, or 12-0. Yeah, we ended up 12-4, I think. Y'all remember that about 3-4 years ago, whatever that was, when Ben was still there, and we was like I think we were the last undefeated team in the league. And who kept saying don't believe the hype? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember me saying I don't trust this team, and y'all was killing me. But Sim, they undefeated. I was like, dog, don't believe the hype. Matter of fact, you know who beat us? You know who beat us and got us out of that undefeated season at that time? Washington. A Chase Young led Washington team beat us. Remember? And remember, I said that week, I don't know, bro. That front end scares me. And some of y'all was like, oh, man, we going to kill him. I was like, I don't know. Ain't that ironic? And now look at Washington now. We gonna face off against them with a winning record and a nice quarter. I ain't gonna say great too early, but a nice quarterback so far. So, yeah, man. Yeah. That's the Kansas City 6-0 reminds me of that. I ain't believing them. They don't feel like a 6-0 team to me. They don't feel like they so dominant this year. I think somebody might get the Chiefs, man. Somebody might get the Chiefs this year. Might get them up out the paint. But we'll see. It's a lot of football left to be played, man. I mean, hey, most people wouldn't have thought that the Steelers would be sitting at 5-2 right now. So you just never know, man. Sometimes that's why they roll the ball out and they say, play. The best will beat the worst will beat the best, and all in between. That's just how it goes, man, any given Sunday. But guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. Is there another one to answer really quick? Brother Man to you says we're gonna beat them if Russell Wilson plays. We'll see. Walter says KC looks vulnerable, but Mahomes is Mahomes, and their D is stepping up for sure. Yeah, kind of like Pittsburgh, right? Kind of like Pittsburgh early in the season. The defense holding it down, and the team getting just enough points. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down, man, so I can get myself ready for tomorrow, do my commute so I can chill the rest of the week. I'm going to go check in on the score of the Sixers game, man, and see how that's going. And I'll be honest with y'all, I don't be worrying about the Sixers game this early in the season. I don't really pay attention to records until they like 50 games in. You know what I mean? It'll be a lot of winning, a lot of losing in these early portions of the NBA season. But all right, guys, y'all know the routine, man. If you haven't already, make sure, just do a couple things for me. Oh, well, hold on. We got Wonder Bread. Lee Sharp, appreciate you. Round of applause. Oh, they play tomorrow. You're right, Kenyon. Y'all right. They do play tomorrow. I got tripped up because I thought the season officially started tomorrow, and then I saw it started tonight with the Knicks and the Celtics, somebody else, so it threw my days off. But y'all right. Yeah, so I'll get a chance to watch that game tomorrow. They play tomorrow. That's right. But PG and Embiid is out. Oh, man, I ain't watching. Well, I'll watch it. I'll see who else can possibly cook in their absence. But Lee Sharp says Cam Sutton or Beanie. Interesting. I sent that question in to the Terrible Podcast with Alex and Dave from Steelers Depot. I was just curious. My point was, I said, hey, Cam Sutton will be back available soon. What do you do? Even though Beanie has had up and down play, do you keep him in or do you throw Cam Sutton in? And I said, I don't want to disrupt Beanie's development, especially after the game he had this past weekend. Let him continue to play and get those bumps in, go through his lumps and develop. However, Dave made a good point. He said Cam Sutton will allow them to do more things. They said they may be able to utilize both of those guys. Basically, they were saying that both of them probably will play, but it gives Steelers a lot of options package-wise, where you might be able to use a dime package where you got Bishop and Cam Sutton out there. And I was like, you're right. So I don't think it'll be a situation. The more I think about it after hearing that explanation, you know what it might remind me of? It kind of reminds me of, remember when we were playing, there was a time when we had Cam Sutton and Mike Hilton. This was before Mike Hilton was the full-time nickel. Remember when we were alternating those guys? One of them would come in for more so. Cam Sutton would come in for like passing downs, and Mike Hilton would be more of the run guy. We might end up doing something like that. I could see a situation where we utilize both of them. Maybe Beanie Bishop is playing more of the base defense, right? And then Cam Sutton would come on more passing downs. Or like Dave Bryan said, it might be situations where we get both of them out there in the dime. So all in all, I would like to say I do not want Cam Sutton to take snaps away from Beanie Bishop unless Cam Sutton's play is undeniable. And if that's the case, may the best one get on that field. And that's all I got. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and turn it in for the night, man. Y'all be good. Again, please hit that like button right here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And turn on the notifications. And share. Share this video. If you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate you. But outside of that, I want you guys to stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. In the next video, next stream should be probably Friday. We'll do the pregame before play show. All right, catch y'all in the next one. Peace.